Live from Astronomy Island on a Friday night. This is Anglesey, by the way. I live just here. It's an amazing dark sky reserve. Wonderful. Well, it's not a reserve, should I say, but it has got very dark skies. And this is where we are coming live from tonight with Pop Astro Live. Good evening to you. We are going to be here for the next hour. And tonight's special is on astronomy education. So the first things first, it's really great if you can interact with the show. So please feel free to start posting your comments. We have real astronomers sat at home waiting to take your requests. So if you've got any questions, just pop them in the comments. And one of our wonderful Society for Popular Astronomy astronomers will answer you. So it's great. It's fantastic. So tonight we have got coming up, we've got Cath, our resident astronomer au naturel from the SPA. We've got Nigel Marshall, author of GCSE Astronomy, which is this textbook here. We've got Liz Pentreath of Mac Astro, who does outreach. And tonight's big question, is Mac Astro the most active society in the UK? Now, I'm a member and they do so much outreach and so many different activities and field trips. So we're going to be comparing sizes and seeing whether Mac Astro is the busiest in the UK. And we've also got Ian Ridpath, astronomer. He's going to be talking cruising and planetariums. So I've got some challenges for you first. Good evening. It's Paulina. It's Ian Baker. He is one of our newest members of the SPA. I know this because he told me on Facebook. Ian, look forward to getting the magazine every 2 months, access to meetings and exclusive content, guaranteed to make new friends. And plus it puts me in the good books because it means that I'm drawing in members. Yay. Good evening, Joe Bourne. Good evening, Cath Elizabeth. Hi. Yeah, Ian and Cath should be friends, actually. There we go. I'll do some social networking for you. I'm Paulina Merton. How am I? Well, do you know what? I don't think I've been outside for 3 days. The weather here on Anglesey, I don't really know whether I can show you. We get we're the fourth windiest place in the UK here. Can I show you what's happening out there? You can't see it. It's too exposed. We have got these big pine trees out there and they've just been bent over at 90 degrees for the past 4 days. So I've not been outside. Just my laptop charges come out. Hang on. So I've not been outside. I've not seen any astronomy, and that's really all that counts, isn't it, when a fellow astronomer asks how you are? Not really done much else, to be honest. Great to see you all interrupting Paul Sutherland. It's great to see you all interacting. Hello, Mr. Sutherland. Let's have a look. Hi, Paul. Thanks for all your help putting this show together. Ian is saying hello to Cath. Cath is saying hello to Ian. Good Lord. This is one of the best benefits of becoming a member of the SPA for just £23 a year, is that you get to meet new people. Hi, Joan. And once again, oh, I remembered you, Joe, because you are drinking out of a mug. That's how I remember you. And Paulina, who's got a good fringe. Right, let's have a look. Hi, Robin here. Looking forward to a show without me on it. Oh, okay, Robin. All right, then. That's thank you for your contributions for the past couple of weeks. So you've been an amazing body double, stunt double for all the other astronomers. Right, okay, here is your first challenge of the evening. I have got some anagrams for you. They are tough. Obviously, they're all astronomy related. Now, I'm going to scroll them along the bottom. And the just bear with me. Let's have a look. So there's 4 anagrams. Now, I think it would be good if you could try and get all 4 together at the same time. Are you ready for them? The first person to get all 4 in the comments wins the most amazing prize in the history of astronomy, a life-size replica of Betelgeuse. So you may or may not want to get them all right, providing whether you've got storage or not. Tonight's anagrams: morons stare, Asia copies, ripe jut, and council tent. First to get all 4 wins a life-size model of Betelgeuse. Answer in the comments, please. No prize tonight other than a Betelgeuse. You don't get a mug, unfortunately. Okay, so I'll leave those scrolling along the bottom for a little bit. We are going to go over to Cath in a moment. Okie dokie. Yeah, we're going to come over to Cath now. Are you ready, Cath? Here she comes. Oh, here she is. It's our astronomer on natural. Good evening, Cath.
Good evening, Vicky. Good evening, everyone. How are you?
We're all fantastic. Have probably not done much looking at the sky this past few nights, have we?
No, it's been absolutely terrible. I'm trying to think. I think it's almost a week for me now since I've had any really clear skies. So I'm a bit makes me a bit sad, especially in lockdown. Yeah, putting a face.
That is going to work out the last time I had my cholesterol out.
Oh, have you not had clear skies?
No, we've not had that clear skies on Anglesey, and when we did last have clear skies, it was that big old ripe strawberry moon.
Oh, you saw that then?
Do you know what? I slept through every single one, so I didn't see it. Did you see it?
No, I had cloud. So there was, yeah, I should have got in my car because a few people that were literally just down the road, they got some awesome photos of it, but yeah, I didn't get in my car, which was a bit of a shame. So yeah, I didn't see it.
You're getting a fan club here. Joe Bourne says, "Evening, Cath."
Oh, evening, Joe. Oh, lovely Joe, who I met at Preston Montford. Oh.
And hello to Paul Harper here, who says, "Hi to everyone. We always approve of people who've got Jodrell Bank as their profile picture."
Oh, absolutely. Yes. What an awesome photo.
That is very good, actually, isn't it?
It's good. That's a good angle. I'm just looking at it. Yeah, that's a good angle, that is. I never get that good angle.
Yeah, I think I went 4 times in a row and it's had its back to me.
Yeah, it was parked for a long time, wasn't it? It's just, yeah, it's literally hasn't it just gone live again? I think I might have read. I mean, obviously it's not open at the moment, is it, to visit? But I do think the dish might be moving again now. I'm sure I've read something.
Wow, Jodrell Bank is my absolute favourite place in the universe, and I know. I'm starting to say this a little bit more in public now, but it's a thought that's been in my head for a long time. Have you ever seen those programs where people marry the Eiffel Tower?
Oh, Vicky! Are we going to have a wedding at Jodrell Bank, Vicky? Oh my goodness me! What will we do?
Hang on. How to marry the Eiffel Tower? I'm just going to Google it. How to marry the Eiffel Tower.
Oh my goodness.
To marry, it's called objectophilia or something. How to marry the Eiffel Tower. Okay, let's have a look.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
This poor lady broke up with the Eiffel Tower.
How could you break up with the Eiffel Tower?
She Erica Eiffel. Get an eyeful of that, love.
Oh dear. Oh, Vicky, I don't.
She had a commitment ceremony with the tower, only to find herself heartbroken a year later when staff, after viewing the documentary, asked her to stay away. Now she's with a crane.
I don't know what to say.
I don't know either.
Oh, shall I talk about Starlinks? Shall I move us on?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just about to write me vise out there. Write me wedding vows out there. Ryan Laird's watching. Hi, Ryan, fellow space chum of mine. Better not let Erica Eiffel near Jodrell Bank because Jodrell's way sexier than Eiffel. Okay, Cath, you are going to do something a little turn now about Starlink, aren't you?
Yes, Starlinks. It's well, if anybody doesn't know what Starlinks are, I think I'll be absolutely shocked. It's I think they're like the Marmite of astronomy. That's what I'd want to call them. You either love them or hate them. And what can I say? I mean, for anybody that doesn't know what Starlinks are, they are the brainchild of Elon Musk and SpaceX company, and they are basically his ambition is to launch a constellation of satellites into the sky, and they're to provide internet access all over the world. When you hear all of this, you think, yes, this is fantastic. The alleged speed of this internet access that he will provide is about 47% faster than ground-based cable internet. So it all sounds absolutely fantastic, and I'm really trying not to knock it, but you've got to look at both sides of the story. He's currently got, I think there's up in orbit nearly 500. I think it's 482 satellites are up there in the different links that have been launched. They get launched in bouts of about 60 at a time. And the great thing is they are getting people out there that have never looked at the night sky. So they've been big news items. So there's loads of people going out and looking up and seeing lots of things for the first time. But there's the other side to it, in that they're polluting our night skies. And a lot of people who are photographers and deep space, particularly deep space images, you're trying to run several hours worth of data. I'm sure there's people in the chat that will agree with this. If you're trying to run several hours of data and you have this little trail of satellites all the way coming across, it destroys your data. So yeah, Starlinks. I'm really pleased they're getting people out there and looking up. Twitter comes alive whenever there's a launch, but when there's possibly going to be 30 to 40,000 of them in the sky, and there are plans apparently, and I think a couple were launched the last time, to try and put some kind of masking on these so that they're not as bright, but they're still going to affect, because they'll still be going across the path of anything you're imaging. So yeah, it's a real sword.
Has his latest batch had any amendments to them then?
Yeah, I think there's a couple gone up, and I do believe there is a launch scheduled for this weekend, I think. And I think there's a couple more satellites that will be going up that'll look different, in that they will, I presume they're painting them of some sort to make them less reflective.
Sure.
So in theory, they won't look as bright. Because I don't know, have you seen them, Vicky? Have you actually ever seen them?
Yeah, I have, and they're a crazy sight to see. But isn't there a thing about them being turned? They're kind of like, because they're like a solar panel, like a blade, aren't they? That's right. Yes. Shut my blind while you chat here, Cath, because I look like I'm in a gibbous phase at the moment.
You do? Yeah, they basically, there is an idea that they can actually make them so that they're not as bright and as reflective in the sky. But if anybody hasn't actually seen them, the next time that there is a pass, you should get out and have a look. So they literally are like a string of pearls going across the sky. It's just like dot after dot. And if it's a late pass,
pearls, though, the cheap ones.
yeah, it's not. I mean, I've sat and watched them, and the first time I saw them was actually one of the brightest passes there's been. And I was sat in my garden, and I was literally like, oh, that's what people are complaining about, because I'd never seen them before. So yeah, I mean, if they manage to do something to make them less bright and angle it so that they're not reflecting, that will improve matters, but it still won't stop them blocking out things that are in the sky. And upsetting some of I've got some really good friends who do huge amounts of deep space imaging, and they message me frequently as to how many of their how much data they've had to bin because it's been wrecked. So it's a bit of a thing. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know whether anyone's putting, there is something coming in the chat about the amount. I mean, at the moment, if you think there's only just under 500 in orbit, imagine when there's 12,000 or 20 or 30 or 40.
That's just crazy, isn't it? I just don't know. Sean is asking, will they affect space launches and astronaut safety? I'm going to say they're designed to kind of fall back in after a couple of years, aren't they?
Yes, they will deorbit. I mean, that's and that's all supposed to be very controlled. I mean, in terms of rocket launches, I mean, I am no expert, but obviously the rocket launch is timed. It's seconds, isn't it? If it misses a window by a second, the rocket won't launch, because they are timed so that they get to their destination on time. And obviously the Kennedy Space Center, NASA know exactly where these satellites are, so there really shouldn't be any issue, unless of course one falls out of its orbit. Then I guess, I mean, that's like anything, isn't it? With space, there's been more than one or two disasters over space history where things have gone wrong. So if everything goes to plan, they certainly shouldn't affect launches. But I mean, that's the other thing, space debris as well. I mean, when they do deorbit, it should all be controlled, I think, to my understanding. But if something suddenly breaks, or I suppose the amount of satellites we're putting up there, the other thing to think about is if we've got all these satellites, say we get to a point of 20, 30,000, but then we get mini little break off bits of comets or asteroids coming in, like space, normal, what's natural space debris. If that hits one, I'm really not sure. Mm,
Do you know, whenever I hear about stuff like this and stuff raining down from the skies, do you remember the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoons?
I
Remember you have
do.
just that tiny little umbrella? I just feel like having like a pointless. So everybody
Yeah.
buy a pointless umbrella and you'll be protected from space junk. Not really.
No, I don't think that's going to work. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, isn't it? We'll just have to see. But I'm certainly concerned for our night sky, and I know a lot of astronomers are. Oh, there's Joe's an imager. Yeah, Joe's comment. Yeah,
Right.
lovely Joe. She's a cracking imager, so she will know how hard it's going to be.
Okay, now Ian Baker's typed a big long comment. It's probably going to fill the whole screen when I press it. What happens when I press a long comment? We're here.
Yeah.
Yes. On the 15th of October, the US Federal Communications Commission. Good job, I can speed read. Very good. Wow, that's a lot of stuff coming.
It is. Well, that's what I was saying. I'd seen it was going to go up to 40,000. So yeah.
Who's Jerry Stone? He looks great in that profile picture. Hi, Jerry. I don't know if I know you. Do you know Jerry, Cath?
I don't think I do. No, I don't think I know Jerry, and he's quite right. The dark satellite, that's what they are testing, and he's quite right. It should reduce it, but whether it will reduce it enough, we can only wait and see.
Cath, thank you so much for coming on this week. As per usual, it's a great opportunity just to have some banter with you.
Always.
What should we do next week? Now, the thing is, I've been leaving the arrangement of the show till relatively late in the week. Let's not do that this week, and let's think of a topic. You've been very, very helpful to me, so thanks for all of that, Cath.
That's welcome. You're welcome. We'll have a think. Ask people what they want to know about.
What would you like to know about? Thank you. All right, Cath, see you later.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, so I'm going to remove you from the stream now, and then we're going to introduce our next guest. Okay, so next on the show. Okay, so this time last year, I attempted to start doing a GCSE in astronomy. Now, for various reasons beyond my control, this did not happen, but I did start working on this book. You can even see my notes in it. It's blimmin' awesome. Look at this beautiful, beautiful glossy textbook from Macclesfield Publishing. And now I would like to introduce you to the gentleman responsible for me buying my first ever scientific calculator. It's Nigel Marshall. Hi, Nigel.
Hi, Vicky. Hi, everybody.
Oh, that's a very, very nice, crisp, clear connection that you are on.
Oh, that's great. Thanks ever so much for letting me on the show.
It's a pleasure. Well, thank you.
I've got a book here as well. Look.
Oh, lovely.
I used to tell the students at school that they'd written the name of the teacher on the front of the book because they didn't know I'd written it to start with.
Look what I've written, my age and my name in mine.
Very good. Very good.
You see, because I am, just in case you couldn't tell, I am a creative type that excelled in creativity and English language, and mathematics and physics was just something that I really struggled with. And it's such a shame. And I realized that a couple of years ago, I thought, why didn't I pay more attention? Because now I've got to really start from the basics with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us more about, yeah, I guess astronomy GCSE is something that people come into at all ages, probably almost more than any other GCSE, would you say?
Yeah, very much. It's a popular subject in schools, but only in about 300 secondary schools. That's compared with about 4,000 up and down the country. There are a lot of sixth form colleges. There are distance learning courses as well. The Royal Astronomical Society down in London and the Royal Observatory at Greenwich do public outreach courses, and they're very popular as well. But up and down the country in the provinces, it's really open to a few schools who have the insight to invite parents in as well as the students. I used to teach up at Lancaster Girls Grammar School, and we used to have the pupils there and their parents in. There was great competition between them. But certainly when it came to coursework and things like this, great competition.
It's such a shame, really, that GCSE isn't on more syllabuses, because it's such a diverse, all-encompassing subject. You get like a taste of everything in it, don't you? Yeah,
absolutely. It is really very comprehensive. 16 topics altogether. It's very challenging as well. I was giving a talk to Macclesfield Astro about 2.5 years ago. And I was going through the material that I'm happy to do tonight if you'd like me to. But Professor Ian Morrison was there in the audience, and he said, Nigel, he said, a lot of this stuff we do in first year undergrad at the university.
Right.
So it's not an easy option, as we say. And I think the syllabus, the specification, as we should call it, was made deliberately hard to really offset the politicians who thought that GCSE in astronomy was really easy and a doddle, and it's not. It's very demanding, as you've probably seen from looking at the back there. It really is 3 subjects in one. It's traditional astronomy, leading to navigation and where we are at sea and latitude and longitude and all the stellar coordinates. We learn that latitude and longitude aren't lines on a map, they're actually angles, which a lot of you know, of course. It's space science, so there's a lot of space exploration. What can we, this is the actual science that we do, because most of it is just based on observations. But there's lots of space science in there. And of course, a big chunk, the last 5 chapters, astrophysics. That's a big chunk at the end. That's like the kind of sequence on side 2 of Abbey Road. A big chunk of work that really leads up to, you know, the expansion of the universe. So whereas chapter 1 starts off planet Earth, using it as a basis for angles and observations and azimuths and altitudes and this sort of thing, it really ends up 15 sections later at the expansion of the universe, the supposed age of the universe, the time during which the universe has been expanding, and so on. But it's not easy.
It starts off like a naive little pretty comic book with nice little pictures and diagrams, and accelerates into light speed, leaving poor Vicky going, my calculator's melted.
Yes, yes, indeed. But what an opportunity for any individual with an interest in astronomy, who does a little bit of observing, would like to change that, develop that into something that becomes a formal qualification, and adds background knowledge, and is something to talk about and brag about either with your schoolmates, your chums down the pub, put it on your CV.
Oh, brilliant.
I don't have a CV anymore because I'm retired, but you know, all throughout, people have asked me, oh, you're a teacher, what do you teach? And I say, I teach physics, I teach a bit of maths, and I teach astronomy. Astronomy, wow! You know, and it's there, it captures everyone's imagination. And certainly, you know, with what we've just heard with SpaceX and all this sort of stuff going on, with maybe manned space missions to Mars, back to the moon, you know, astronomy is there in the forefront of the news. And if you've already got an interest in that, which I think a lot of your viewers have, then what an opportunity to take it forward. So if I can do a little bit of a plug, not for my book this time.
Go on.
But I actually am a tutor for the Online Astronomy. It's the OASA, the Online Astronomy Society Academy. And they run a 2-year with an accelerated 1 year that I wouldn't recommend distance learning course.
So we've got a few questions coming in here then. Does this cover the full course for the GCSE?
Sorry, what was that? I missed that one.
Does this cover the full course for the GCSE?
The book, yes, very much. Yeah.
Very comprehensive, yeah.
I had to squeeze everything in 72 pages, because otherwise it will be bound in a different way and would cost about another tenner. This costs about $14.95, something like that these days. But the book covers the whole course. There are other resources I've written, but I'm not here to speak about those. I'm here to really enthuse about the subject. There is a little bit of, there's not coursework as such, but if anybody is going to undertake a course in GCSE astronomy, There are 2 projects that you have to complete, 2 full projects. This is common now in A-level physics and so on and so forth, and A-level subjects, where you have to actually show that you've done some practical work. So it's not assessed as such, but there is one naked eye project and one aided project to have a go at and complete, and then these are scrutinized and somebody ticks a box and says yes, the student has completed this work and has done jolly well. There we are.
From all the astronomers I know who've done it, they get completely hooked on it, obsessed with it. They're so excited about their results. It's a really wonderful thing for astronomers to do, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this summer was due to be the 2nd sitting of the new examination. There are 2 exam papers, one based on naked eye astronomy and one based on everything else. So there's a lot of navigation in the first paper and there's a lot of astrophysics in the second paper. But yeah, what a pity that they've not been able to sit the exam. So we wait for what, September, October, November, if that's going to happen. I don't know. There's a lot of information and false information and speculation just floating about out there in the exam business world.
So astronomers, no matter what your background, what your ability, this is a wonderful course for you to try out to bolster your learning skills for so many different reasons, even if it's just for a bit of fun, if you're that way inclined. How do they get involved, please, Nigel?
Well, really, I suppose your viewers need to know a school or a college nearby. Mm-hmm. But I do know that the distance learning course, the OASA, is open to students recruiting and finding more information about this. Wonderful.
So let's just have a little, a quick. You mentioned some of the stuff in this. There's some well impressive stuff in this. What's your favourite bit in it? There's the M Hertz from Russell diagram. I've not seen that for a few months. I've not been doing any study while I've been in lockdown.
Yeah, I've got 2 favourites, because these are new and these haven't been in GCSE astronomy before, and I've been with it. I've been teaching it and examining it since it was born in 1985, 6, something like that, I think. So since GCSEs came in, there we go. I like the bit about how the Greek astronomers Eratosthenes and Aristarchus of Samos, how they determined the size of the moon, the distance of the moon, the size of the sun, and the distance to the sun, all using basic instruments like the thumb, a lunar eclipse, shadow sticks, and very crude protractors. So I like that bit. They didn't do it very accurately, but the techniques are absolutely fascinating, absolutely brilliant.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Nigel. So this lovely book could be yours for $14.99. Is that the right price?
$14.95, I think. Yeah.
$14.95. Yeah. And yourself, Nigel, are you now time to plug us? Are you a member of the SPA?
I'm not actually, no, but
well, we'd love to have you.
I must join and take part, and hopefully you might have me back sometime.
Oh, well, it'd be lovely if you were to. Obviously, it's all. There's a word and I always get it wrong, reciprocity. But people doing your astronomy GCSE would be fantastically welcomed as members of the SPA as well. So we can all combine and join forces to become one big astronomy brain.
Excellent. That's great. That sounds really good. Yeah. Brilliant.
Lovely. Well, I trust you're keeping well in lockdown.
Oh yes. I'm being very good, actually. I'm only going out once every 2 days, just to buy food in. So I'm,
Really look after yourself.
I'm in a new house, so unfortunately, all the furniture that should have arrived on sort of day 4, the company decided on day 3 that they weren't doing any deliveries. So luckily, I've got a bed, a desk,
and a telescope.
And a telescope. Yes.
Oh, just very quickly before you go, because I've often wondered this. When you've moved house, was a good sky aspect one of the important things that you looked at?
It wasn't, unfortunately, because I've come, sadly, from a very clear skies in North Derbyshire over to Liverpool, where it's quite bright. but had some lovely views of the moon and Venus the other week. And,
oh, lovely. Okay, well, keep up the astronomy, Nigel. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time. See you soon.
Thanks very much. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So let's put the anagrams back on. How are you feeling about having a go with some anagrams there? There's 4 running across the bottom. Once you've got all 4, please, or even maybe just one. I am aware that they are difficult. Let's see if somebody's got any right. If anyone needs help with their astronomy GCSE, the SPA has, oh, there you go. Look at that. If anybody needs help with their astronomy GCSE, the SPA has an advisory service available to members. What a great little service that is. That's just lovely. Right, okay, well, our next guest is somewhere in the ether. I'm just going to have a hunt around and see if she's waiting in the waiting room for me. That is great news. We're all about the education here. Let's see if Liz has messaged me. We should be joined by Liz from Macclesfield Astronomy right now. I'm just going to see if she's sent me a quick message. No, she hasn't. Come on, Liz. Come, 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 come. Great. So let's see what's happening in the comments. So when the astronomy O-level was introduced, there was a classroom for pupils from a local group of schools, but my school would not let me take part. I even bought Patrick Moore's book, Astronomy for O-level. That is a travesty. That is a travesty. So let's go back to these anagrams. See if I can give you some clues. Or maybe not, because I'm feeling fiendish. Okay, so the anagrams are, tonight's anagrams, morons stare. That's the easiest out of all of them, I would say. Asia copies. Oh, God, I can't even remember what they are myself now. Ripe jut and council tent. All quite common astronomy terms. In fact, even I'm having difficulty remembering. We're just waiting for Liz to come on. And after that, we've got Ian Ridpath, the cruising astronomer. Thank you very much to Nigel and Cath, who've already been on. Now, last week we had Robin Scadgill of the SPA on. And just aside from astronomy, something that you can be seeing when you're looking down as well as looking up. Robin is a glowworm expert, and he was telling us about how in June and July, pretty much these little kind of, I'm assuming they're green little things, are scattered on the floor like stars. So they will be in your county somewhere, we are led to believe. Robin kindly pinged me a map saying that they are round and about in my area. So hopefully next time sky's clear and I can be bothered going out, because on Anglesey it's very, very windy, I'll be sure to look down as well as up. We're just waiting for Liz from Mac Astro to come on. She is somewhere in the ether, I can imagine. Maybe she's, I wonder whether my email got through to her. Just bear with me, please. I know she's got a couple of email addresses. Just bear with me. Forward to Liz. iCloud. Liz. You're on now. You're on now. So this is our wonderful magazine. We're probably due for the next one, actually. This is the SPA magazine. Now, I know we plug it every week, but it's our show and we can do what we want. So it's really wonderful if you become a member of the SPA, because this is where your astronomy education begins. This is compiled entirely by volunteers, but it's a very professional publication. And one of the first things I always do is flick to the back pages where members submit their entries and get their photos published and their observations. This is one of the most crucial things about the SPA, is that we publish your fantastic observations and your sketches. Look, even something as tiny as that. Let's see if I can expose it. Can you see that? That is a sketch of spiral Galaxy M101 by Martin Lewis. It's a tiny little sketch. It's not more than 2 inches big, and yet it's made it into our magazine. And the feeling of satisfaction that you get when you see your name, I always say, not up in lights, but up in paper. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a lovely feature here about, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong now, the Mare Orientale. This is one of the most spectacular features on the moon, but we can only view it for a few days in the year. Now, this I did not know. It's a colossal impact feature on the lunar surface located just over the western limb of the moon. Our vantage point on Earth gives us very tantalizing glimpses, unlike so many of the lunar seas. Its name comes from its position on the eastern side of the moon as seen from the Earth. But in 1961, the IAU changed the definition. Oh, this is where it got confusing. They switched the compass of the moon around. So when my astronomy lecturer sends me moon information, I'm like, which way is up, which way is down, east or west on the moon? They changed the definition of the east and west cardinal points on the moon to align east with the direction of sunrise as seen on the lunar surface. If that's not going to confuse a girl who doesn't know her left from her right, I don't know what is. Have you seen the Museum of the Moon? That is Luke Jerram's amazing big giant moon that is suspended in wonderful cavernous places. We saw it in Liverpool Cathedral, and it truly is one of the best spectacles I have ever seen in my life. There's also a sister to that exhibition, which is Gaia, which is the planet Earth. I think we looked at it for 2 hours non-stop in Liverpool Cathedral, and it was just absolutely fantastic. So we're missing a guest at the minute. The printers are hard at work on the July issue. Oh, thank you, Robin. I know how hard Robin slaves to edit this magazine. Let's put a call out now. We are looking for an editor for this magazine. Robin has been standby editor, stunt double editor for this wonderful magazine. This is going to be a fantastic foot up into the wonderful world of astronomy publishing. If you take over the editing of it, it's going to look fantastic on your CV. Now, I am actually a content writer, and I can assure you that once you break into the world of paid writing, it's a great career. It meant that I could travel around the world and just send articles back to the UK. They weren't articles about astronomy, sadly. They were articles about quite mundane subjects, such as party goods and online gambling. But it got me around the world, and you can definitely make great headway to some of the online astronomy and space publications if you get experienced in something like this. So there we go. Come on, Liz. I'm actually waiting for our third guest of the evening. So maybe she's having tech problems this evening. How are you getting on with our anagrams? The next guest that we have got coming on, well, I'll just introduce for a moment before he logs on. He is due to be seeing us in about 5 minutes anyway. He is Ian Ridpath, editor himself, actually, of the Society magazine. We can ask him what it was like for a number of years when we were the JAS, and is the author of many books on the sky. He is a regular aboard cruise ships, including Queen Mary II, Queen Mary II, Queen Mary II, sorry, with its planetarium. So he really is an ideal person to have on. His speciality these days is the stories about the constellations and his Star Tales website, which is widely quoted. So hopefully Ian will be joining us in a moment. Right, I'm getting emails bouncing back to me from Liz, who should have been our guest. I'll tell some astronomy jokes. Oh, he's got them. Go, Jerry. Jerry has won a life-size model of Beetlejuice. Just let us know where you would like it leaving and if there's a safe place for delivery. Oh, here's Liz coming now. She's here. Here is Liz. So we have got astronomers. I ran these names through an anagram generator, and it turns out that astronomers actually comes up as moron stare. It's not the most flattering anagram, but it was amusing to me. Asia Copies is Cassiopeia, Right Jut is Jupiter, and Council Tent is Noctilucent. Sounds like Cockney rhyming slang. Thank you. Well done, Jerry. And Beetlejuice is on its way to you. Where do you want us to leave it? On your front porch? Great. Okay, we've got Liz here. Let's get Liz on. And in fact, we've also got Liz and Ian Ridpath on. We can merge them together in a minute towards the end of the show, and we can have three of us chatting together. So let's get Liz's banner on. Well done, Jerry. Here she is. 3, 2, 1. You're about to go live, Liz. Hey, Liz.
Hiya.
Hey, how are you?
Sorry I'm late.
Do you know what? I'm wearing a lot of synthetic clothing right now, and I am sweating. I was like, what am I going to talk about? Where is she? Are you all right?
Oh, I'm so sorry.
My friend, how are you? I'll put my fan on.
I'm good. I'm good.
Tell us who you are, Liz.
Well, I'm belong to Astro, which is the Macclesfield Astronomy Society in Macclesfield. And I'm in charge of outreach along with Sue Scott. So we go in and do almost anything that anybody asks us to within reason. We see schools, we see cubs, we see guides, we go to libraries, we go to adult evenings. We go to Teg's Nose for star parties, and we go to Jodrell Bank.
Right, okay. So what's your favourite part of doing all that? Because I know you've mentioned some stuff in the past to me about rehabilitation for people.
Yes, we've been, in fact, we were due to go to Jocelyn Sully, which is has a really, really good program for people in recovery from mental illness of all sorts. And they really seem to enjoy astronomy. And it is really fun because they just... Well, some people, as always, some people are just fascinated by it and can't get enough. And it is really fun to do, really fun to do.
Do you know, Liz, I mean, there is no doubt about it. Probably the main reason I do astronomy is because it cheers me up so much and it's so good for my mental health. I wonder whether other astronomers would say that as well, actually, about how it gets your head out of your area where the sun don't shine and gets you looking outwards and gets you mingling and gets you meeting great people.
Absolutely. And one thing I will say about all astronomers is they are so generous. If you don't have a telescope yourself, which at the moment I don't, but I'm going to get my arm twisted by Vicky to get this one she's got because it's really good. Then they just say, come and look through my telescope, and they explain things to you. It's just, you don't need to feel at all embarrassed by your lack of understanding and knowledge because they're just there and they love to share. So
I think that's quite important to anybody who's remotely interested in astronomy. I call myself astronomer botherer royal because over the past 20 years, I must have looked down hundreds and thousands of pounds worth of telescopes and never been asked to buy my own. I've always looked down other people's.
Yes.
They're very generous, aren't they?
They really are. They really are. And I think they get as much fun out of sharing what they know and seeing people who've never seen these things before as they do seeing it themselves, just for themselves.
Because it can be quite a lonely hobby when you're on your own, but it's so. Just a little bit of background. I know Liz from the Anglesey field trips that we go on with Macclesfield Astronomy. Once every couple of months, we hire out this. Wow, what's it like? Do you know what? Just talking about it is making my heart hurt because God knows when we're going to be back there. It's a very old little school in the very rural part of Anglesey where 20 astronomers convene to spend 2 nights doing a lot of talking and eating mainly.
And we go to the Chippy.
Oh, yeah, the chips in Pentreath is very good. Yeah, tell us about that because it's happy memories, isn't it?
It is. And until, well, say the last year, Sue and I have been doing the Saturday night meal. We cook it so that we really spend all our time eating together and talking together and then running out and looking at the stars when they're visible. It's a shame we weren't all quarantined in lockdown in Ligwy, because we would have seen some amazing skies,
Oh
which
my
I'm
God.
sure you've seen, Vicky.
Living here on Anglesey, yes, I have seen it. Yes. So, well, wistful times, but also hopeful times ahead, Liz. It's been really great. I'm just actually going to bring on Ian, who,
Okay.
you know Ian by any chance?
Don't know. I know an Ian.
Oh, no, he's shaking his head. I can see him in the green room. Okay, so just bear with me. We can all say hello to each other. You never know. I might introduce you to a new friend here. Ian, you're coming on in 3, 2, 1. I've never done 3 before. Let me see if I can find out how to just fiddle these banners around.
Yeah, I'm hidden.
You are, and that's not nice for a guest.
Probably the best thing, actually. Oh, no.
Let's have a look. Let's have a... Hang on a minute. Oh, hang on. I can get rid of...
The smaller the better. Yeah.
Let me just try and sort this out. I'm venturing into the world of buttons I've never pressed before. Ian, because I do business networking for a living, so I'll introduce you to Liz from Macclesfield Astronomy.
Hello.
Hi, Ian.
Hi all, and good evening to you, Vicky. It's the first time we've spoken.
It sure is, absolutely, yeah. Now, are you a member of a society, Ian?
Not a local society, no, the Royal Astronomical Society.
Oh, the big guns.
Yeah.
So one of the things is about Mac Astro is, because I'm kind of on the fringes really, because I do kind of live out of the catchment area. Liz, we reckon that Mac Astro might be the most active society in the UK, and I'd just like you to give us a quick rundown of all the amazing stuff that you do, and let's see if there's another UK society who can match it or beat it.
Well, we meet.
She's the winner.
3 times
I
a
think
month.
Catherine Rayner at Cardiff would have a thing to say about that.
Oh, let's find out then. Well, we need to find this out.
Yes, we need to hear.
Yeah, I should have been going to see them to give a talk in September, but we're going to have to do it by Zoom instead, which will be interesting.
Yes.
Go on, Liz. Let's hear what Mac Astro does, and then we're going to go over to Ian.
Well, we haven't stopped because of lockdown. We just do everything on Zoom. So we have a workshop which has, in fact, Zoom has enabled us to have contributors from the USA and different parts of the world on our workshops, which have been quite exciting. And then we have the social evening the next week in a virtual pub. And then we have a lecture, which maybe we should ask Ian if he could give us a lecture on Zoom.
You've got a gig, Ian.
Oh, well, talk about it off screen.
And then you do all the outreach stuff, and then you're frequently on the BBC as well. You are like the BBC's pet astronomy society.
Well, I think it's turned into that since our appearance on the breakfast show at Jodrell Bank.
Oh, I was there.
Yeah. It's been a growing profile, Mac Astro has. Okay,
so Liz, it's been so good to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Keep up the amazing outreach work with Macclesfield Astronomy. Join if you're in that area, and also please consider promoting the SPA to members of Mac Astro as well. Thank you very much, Liz.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Vicky.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. So we have got some comments here. Let's have a look. Croydon Astronomical Society regularly opens its observatory at RAF Kenley every Saturday to the public when it's clear. Lots of visitors from Cub Scouts, WIM, religious group, but think Mac AS are busier. Okay, maybe. Well, Jerry Stone.
Always been a very good society for many years.
Yeah. Do you know Jerry Stone?
Oh, of course I know Jerry, yes. Well, he's telling you now when we met.
That's a pretty cool place to meet.
Yeah, I mean, that's... and that's relatively recent.
All right, that's BV, before Vicky, before I was born. Oh, so where's Jerry from then? Because he's been commenting quite a bit on here tonight then. Jerry, where do you know Jerry from then? Where in the country is he?
I'm not sure where he is now, but we used to meet at the British Interplanetary Society meetings many years ago.
Right, Ian. Okay, I've got an impression for you. Now, bear in mind, I've never done an impression of anyone in my life before on TV. Who's this?
Don't believe you.
Right then. Okay, so right then, we're just gonna go up onto the main deck now and have a look who's singing. Right, who's that?
It's Jane McDonald, isn't it?
Would you like to tell the class what it was that you possibly said to either Paul or Robin about me?
He wasn't supposed to pass that on.
It's been passed on, and I just laughed about it all day to the point of learning a Jane McDonald impression.
I said it's like Jane McDonald, only with spaceships instead of cruise ships. Not everybody may know Cruising with Jane McDonald, but it's one of those Channel 5 programs, you know.
It just tickled me so much, and I've adapted it as my new tagline. So,
But are you going to give us a song as well?
Oh, what should I sing? I'm not a very great singer, actually. What should I sing? Rocket Man.
I don't know what Jane would do.
She would sing Rocket Man if she was into astronomy like me. Great, Ian. Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a real pleasure. We're going to nip through some questions with you now then. Well, yes, tell us what it's like, first of all, being the resident cruise astronomer.
Well, I do. For the past 10 years or so, I've been doing Northern Lights trips with Group, who are some people may have heard of them. They're a coastal line which goes from Bergen right the way up to the Russian border and back again. It takes a 12-day round trip. And if you want to go and see the Northern Lights by ship, I would certainly recommend that is the best way of doing it. I've done other shipping lines, and I think Group are definitely the best. Of course, if you want to go and stay for a few days, somewhere like Tromsø is a good place to go. But Robin and I are members of the Royal Astronomical Society's outreach team, and we give talks on Queen Mary and other ships. Of course, Queen Mary has its own built-in planetarium, which they allow us to play with every so often. They're a bit wary that we might break it, but we haven't done so yet. So if you're in the middle of the Atlantic, and believe me, even in August, the weather in the Atlantic is terrible. You don't see very much in the way of stars. But you don't need to go out on deck. You just go into the planetarium, and the sky, of course, is always clear in the planetarium. It was the first cruise ship with a planetarium on board. There are others with small planetariums on board, but it's still by far the biggest and the best.
So which boat is this on, please?
This is Queen Mary 2.
Oh, okay. So when they said there was a planetarium on board, I just had visions of it being a small inflatable one, but is it the works?
Yeah, it seats about 190, because it's actually, they can modify. There is a big theatre where we give the talks, but they can drop a dome down from the ceiling on which they project the sky. So it's bigger than, say, somewhere like Greenwich or some of the smaller planetariums on land. And it's the first planetarium, first seagoing planetarium on planet Earth. I don't know about any other planets, but on planet Earth.
You're taking that. What's it like being in a planetarium at sea? Do you feel the roll of the ship gently, or?
Mary, not on Queen Mary. No, it's big.
I'm just going to Google Queen Mary, because really, not being an aficionado of cruises, I don't know whether she's a big girl. I'm assuming she's a big girl.
It's the size of an oil tanker.
Oh my God, it's big. Wow, that is huge. So you've been doing that for 10 years then?
The Queen Mary for 12 years, since 2008. The Northern Lights trips came later, but I've been pretty much through a complete solar cycle. And as you know, we're now in solar minimum. Of course, nothing's happening at the moment because no ships are sailing anywhere right now. But next year, we hope, as solar activity starts to pick up again, we'll be back looking for some more Northern Lights. And as I said, I would suggest if you want to do it by ship rather than go on land, then Group is the best way to do it.
So I didn't actually think then to ask you questions about what it's like cruising, but like, how long are you away for then on these trips?
It takes a week to cross the Atlantic. They can do it faster. They used to do it faster, but these days they take it more leisurely. It saves fuel, saves costs. So it's a nice week at sea. And people have said to me, "No, do you stop anywhere?" And I said, "Well, actually, no, there isn't anywhere to stop in the middle of the Atlantic." So it's a wonderful feeling. You are just this floating island. It's you in the middle of the Atlantic, and just you against the sea. And Queen Mary is the only. Cunard always very insistent that we call it a liner rather than a cruise ship. and it's officially the only liner still in operation. But it does during the summer, it does the North Atlantic run. In winter, you can go down to the Caribbean on it as well. It becomes more of a cruise ship, but I like North Atlantic run because it's classic, and it's just a week, you on the ship and nothing else. You're totally self-contained little floating city, 2,500 people.
It must be very romantic, and I would definitely get quite excited when you got to the North Atlantic, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. Yeah,
and of course they always tell you when you're passing over the site where the Titanic sank, but it's not always reassuring. But
so I guess as you are astronomer on board, what's your official title actually? Did they give you an official title?
No, we're just lecturers. There are usually 4 lecturers, and so there'll be 3 other lecturers doing 3 other subjects. And so there's it's quite a nice little group of lecturers. We all get together, but there's about 10 or dozen different lecturers from the Royal Astronomical Society, and we all take turns.
So I guess you come into contact with a lot of people on those cruises who have got zero knowledge of astronomy, and that must be wonderful to explain the majesty of the heavens to them.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, that's what I like, because you've certainly got a captive audience. They can't get off the ship.
Your man.
There are alternative attractions such as flower arranging and napkin folding and bago. So you still have to fight a bit for your audience, but the people who come in are going to be interested. They may well know nothing. That's fine. That's exactly the level that my talks are aimed at. You can't go over people's heads. You've got to entertain them. They'll come away entertained and informed, and with luck, go and learn a bit more about the subject.
And after all those years at sea, have you ever learned to make a crocodile out of towels?
No, I've never done the towel folding. No. I prefer a rabbit actually rather than a crocodile.
It's like when you get to like the end of the cruise and they get more and more elaborate until you've got like a monkey hanging down or a crocodile holding a remote control was one of the ones on our little Nile cruise.
No, they don't do that in my cabin, unfortunately. I'm not a paying customer, so I don't get that.
Well, we've got Jerry Stone here saying we're at solar minimum, like for the past 10 years. Do you have anything to suggest that we'll actually see any sunspots soon? I think there has just been a couple starting to blemish.
Well, I keep an eye on there is a good website, which I expect a lot of people know, called spaceweather.com. And that, for me, is always the first stop when you want to find out anything about solar activity, aurorae. They're also very good on satellites and comets and asteroids. It's actually a very good site. So spaceweather.com is a good place to go. And yes, they keep you in touch with, there have been 1 or 2 sunspots trying to break out. But as far as aurorae go, sunspots don't matter. Now, this has always come as a big surprise for people who've read out-of-date books, that sunspots don't cause aurorae. It's actually coronal mass ejections and coronal holes in particular. And we've had some tremendous aurorae over the past 3 years during the declining side of the solar cycle. And I'm going to be interested in the next few years to see how activity builds up as the sun climbs out of solar minimum. But things have been pretty quiet this year. So the fact that there haven't been any cruises, I haven't really been missing very much.
Excellent. Well, good Lord, the cruise industry. It only just dawned on me the other night, actually. I just had this, oh my God, what the heck's happened to the cruise industry in lockdown? What has happened? Totally zero and no sign of it coming back? Or
No, they're all, actually, anyone who lives on the south coast will know that quite a lot of the big cruise ships, including Queen Mary, are actually moored off Weymouth.
right.
They just buzz up and down the channel for a day, go back to Weymouth, come into Southampton, go out again. So they're just shuttling backwards and forwards, just literally marking time, literally treading water, waiting. And the latest news we have is that Cunard won't be restarting voyages until November at the earliest. And of course, that's a lot of machinery just hanging around, just not going anywhere. So yes, and people have lost holidays, and no one knows when it will be safe to book again.
That is a sad time for the cruise sector. So fingers crossed everything will be back to full steam ahead soon.
Mm-hmm. To the nautical term, yeah.
Just give your excuse me, the name of your website. Let me just scroll through my notes.
Well, it's ianridpath.com, so it's not terribly difficult to remember.
Oh, there we go. Star Tales, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah. What have you got on there?
The Star Tales part of my website is, well, about 30-something years ago, in the 80s, I wrote a book called Star Tales, which was about the mythology of the constellations, which is something that I got interested in. And over the years, there was a new edition, second edition came out last year. And over the years, I've built up more information about the history of the constellations, particularly more modern ones, which were invented by astronomers, navigators, explorers from the 16th, 17th century onwards. And there's some quite interesting stories. And of course, there are quite a number of constellations that were invented, never actually made it through to the final 88. There are obsolete constellations, and people sometimes think, well, how can there be an obsolete constellation? Surely it's either there or it isn't. But of course, constellations are all products of human imagination. So like all products of human imagination, there's a story behind them. And those are the stories that I try to tell in Star Tales. And there's a big, big section on my website, which is one of those lifetime's works. I just keep adding to it, and will do until I'm not around to add to it anymore.
Thank you so much for your time, Ian, and thank you very, very much for coming on. And I wish you all the best. And it was great to meet you. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, there we go. That was lovely. Ian Ridpath, everybody. Okay. Well, I hope you have enjoyed Pop Astro Live tonight, the education special. If you've got any questions, drop them into the comments or contact us through the Pop Astro email. Please consider becoming a member of the SPA. We would love to have you. Best 23 quid a year that you will spend. And I'm going to look at the sky now. What is that cloud out there? That looks like a big flat anvil head. Oh yes, because there's thunderstorms coming to Anglesey tomorrow. We've got like a big yellow thunderstorm warning patch. Well, if you can't look at the stars, lightning's quite good to look at. Fingers crossed that we get to see some decent forks of lightning in the sky. Thank you to everybody who contributed tonight. Well done to, let's see what this last comment is here. Thank you, Ian. An interesting piece. Good to see you again. See, reuniting old friends on Pop Astro Live. Well done to Jerry, who got the 4 anagrams right. And the life-size model of Beetlejuice is on its way to you. Okay, everybody. Catch you later. Please like, tag, share this video. Do tune in next week, and any suggestions that you have got for the show, please let us know. We are putty in your hands. Okay, see you later. Bye.